welcome to another 2 Network match report with me, Adam. It's just finished at the John Smiths. It's finished Huddersfield 0, Newcastle United 1. What a belter! Absolutely massive win there. Huge. I can't stress how important this was. A genuine 6-pointer this. I mean, against Wolves, very, very unlucky to lose it, going down to 10 men. We needed to respond. Our home form has been poor the last few weeks, but it's our away form that's been really inspiring, and where we've been getting a lot of the joy. And to be honest, probably because the support has been a lot better away than it has been at home. But I mean, let's get one thing straight. This was a disgustingly scrappy, awful, tense football match. If you're a neutral watching that, you'll have been very, very disappointed with hardly the advert for the Premier League that you might have wanted. But in that result, and Huddersfield, you know, this relatively recent arch nemesis that we've acquired since the Championship promotion season, you know, we lost against them 1-0 last year, very, very early on in the season. But that goal scorer Moy wasn't available today. Their more potent attacker Steve Mooney was ruled out. I thought Hogg and Congolo would be ruled out as well, but they both started. And they kind of played with wing backs. I think that it was basically wing backs versus wing backs, a 3-man defence each, and it was sort of fairly mirrored by both sides. I thought that certainly first half, Huddersfield were absolutely on top of us. They were all over us. They were the dominant team. They controlled things. I thought Billing was probably their standout. He was very, very good. Just a very commanding player. He's an international. He was all over their set pieces. He had a really good whipped free kick that very centrally in the goal, but it was well struck. It was going in under the bar. Dubravka had to match it. And a lot of his long throws seemed to be a theme for today and caused us lots of problems. You can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to get the ball into Depoitre, who is more of a static striker. I mean, if you think Rondon's a static striker, he at least has a bit more mobility than what I saw from Depoitre today. Alex Pritchard, probably their danger man. He was very, very tricky, working between the lines. Very low centre of gravity, so he's just sort of winding in and out of players, and I thought he might have caused us some problems. You know, if ever there was going to be something to come of some of their attacks. But you know what it was in the first half? For all their dominance and for all the fact that they did have plenty of corners, they had a nice shot from Billing from the free kick. I don't think they actually created very many sort of one-on-one chances. The one time that did occur, the guy was standing offside, and Dubravka saved it anyway, so that was ruled out. In the second half, they had a similar thing where, I mean, they allowed. In fact, the goal would have been very, very similar to the Wolves winner, the Doherty winger, where I think was it Jota who was just allowed to run at the defence, shot from outside the box. Dubravka parries it to his left, and you know it was Doherty coming in to parry it in the very same way in the second half. They allowed a player to, I can't remember who it was, to sort of come to the edge of the box, left-footed shot, hit across. Dubravka saved well, and Kennedy, who I must say had a very, very poor game today. His passing wasn't up there. He improved it a little bit second half, and he got taken off with an injury. So I think first half he was really poor. Rafa's obviously given him a kick up the arse at half time, rightly so. But he's basically pushed the guy, not knowing he was offside, and I mean it would have been a blatant penalty. Blatant penalty, but offside flag went up and he was offside. But just before the hour mark, 55th minute or so, probably the highest quality piece of play, and I must say, having seen the entire 90 minutes, it remains the best move I've seen in that game that actually came up with the only goal of the game. Newcastle were passing it out of defence. Ball came to Share on the right hand side of our box. And you remember against likes of Burnley where he was lifting balls really intelligently, long balls, but not just hoof and hopes, very precise balls into the pockets, the corner pockets, for the likes of Atsu and Perez to run into. And I thought Perez and Atsu were both very, very good outlets today. I thought Perez, for a start, was our standout. I think he's our man of the match, Perez. He was absolutely incredible today. He was tackling, he was creating, he was dribbling, he was setting up, and the commitment, the show was there. Played with a wry smile on his face when he didn't get a couple of decisions right. I mean, he really, really impressed me today. Anyway, so Cher's knocked the ball up long. Perez has anticipated it, and it was very, very deliberate, this ball from Cher. I can't stress that enough. Manquillo, who was playing a right wing back, Kennedy was on the left wing back, Manquillo was on the right. I really struggle with it when he's sort of having to be called upon as a defender, because I don't think that's his strength, strangely enough. But as a wing back, not bad. You know, without Yedlin being suspended, he came in and across to the right hand side, and he perfectly overlapped Perez picking the ball up from Cher. Perez is just, he knows where he is. He's given a shout, fantastic communication from the pair of them. Perez has just done a little, he's on the touchline, Perez, he's done a little round the corner. Manquillo's followed it on. By this point, their defence just isn't set, because we've struck them with a very direct but very just efficient move. So Manquillo's sort of in behind the defence. There's one defender to curl the ball around. He does so. And who's there waiting at the back post? Salomon Rondon, my friends. What a run he's on at the minute. Great form. He came up with the goods against Everton, and he was just there. He anticipated, and he was just there. And just a great sliding finish, 1-0, and it's sort of very, very much against the run of play from that point onwards. And actually, it was very, very shortly after. So there was the offside penalty decision, which obviously doesn't matter anymore because it was offside. But very soon after, midway through the second half, some great play from Atsu nutmegs a defender. I mean, he was all over the place, Atsu. I mean, he was really putting it about, and he was a good outlet. As I said, he was dangerous on the very few times that we had the ball. And one of our problems in the first half was that we couldn't create any coherent, meaningful counter-attacks like we had done against Burnley, like we had done against Everton, and we didn't really ask any questions of them at all, like not even slightly. So the fact that we came up with that very, very technically brilliant and clever move for Rondon's goal, and what turned out to be a match-winning goal, and it was worthy of it. It was brilliant. You had to applaud it. It was fantastic. But Atsu nutmegs a defender. Their line is very, very high, and what he's done is he basically just curls a ball through for Perez to pick up, and Perez has held the line, and he's through, and we've got players. Their defence is shot. We've got players in support. He dinks it over Lursel, goes into the net, but the linesman's got his flag up for offside, and you're thinking, oh, that's tight. Sure enough, you look at the replay, he's standing a yard onside. You can see from the lines on the pitch, we've been absolutely done. Commentator was kind of suggesting that, oh well, he's erred on the side of caution there, the linesman, by calling offside. No, that's not the rule. The rule, unless they've changed it, I mean, in fairness, they change the offside rule every bloody year, don't they? But the offside rule, for as long as I can remember, has been benefit of the doubt to the attacker. If it's not clear, it plays on. But this wasn't even that situation. It wasn't even that it was borderline. He was blatantly onside. We've been absolutely done. So he's put it in 2-0 at that point, and I think Huddersfield completely crumble. They do. I think they've scored the fewest number of half-time goals. Second half goals in the Premier League. I think there was only like 2 all season that they'd managed. Very, very low. And this is, Huddersfield were always going to be a team that would struggle to score. This was always going to be a very low-scoring game. But to go 2-0 up would have just wiped them clear, no tension. You know, like we don't like, you know, Newcastle fans could probably do without added tension because it always seems to happen. But that would have been it. That would have been us done. But no, was ruled out, and instead they got their tails up because of that. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, like they've got to help us out here. They really have got to help us out. I forgot to mention that in the first half, the most dangerous player that we had was Fabian Schär. So I think he had played a diagonal ball across from. It was from a free kick. You thought that somebody was going to just whip it in straight away. It wasn't. It was played short. Ball diagonally across to the back post, and Schär was in, and Lersel's made a really good save. But you just think if he squares it across the 6-yard box, Kennedy was waiting back post. That would have been a clear-cut goal as well. So, whereas I think, as I was saying that Huddersfield didn't really have any clean-cut chances in the first half, I think we did, even though we didn't have the majority of the ball at all. We also had another incident where Atsu had gone through, had been played through, but a really heavy touch once he took a diagonal turn into the box towards the goalkeeper, who, when they collided, it was a fair challenge from Atsu, who actually kind of nicked the ball away to try and keep the move alive, but Lersel was down for a bit, injured. So they were the few flashes that we had in the first half, and the other one was Schär had a free kick from just inside their half. And he went to catch Lersel off his line from like 50 yards out. It was really quite impressive, and he was only a couple of yards off. Like, it was a very decent effort. But that was probably, you know, those two chances. The closer we came in the first half. Obviously, you know, the counter attacks were becoming a lot more fruitful for us in the second half. But again, they just came back, and it was just bodies. Bodies that saved us today. An absolutely unbelievable defensive display from everyone. It was battling, and like we've said before, it was kind of like the Burnley game, the Everton game. Bodies on the line to keep them out, like the Bournemouth game at home as well. Just thrown about. I thought, as I said, I thought Perez was standout for us today, but I thought Schär was really good. I thought Clark was solid. Lascelles was a little bit shaky. He went in for a very reckless. I mean, the ball had already gone out, but he went in very recklessly in the first half against the Poitre, who, I mean, it was kind of a scissor. I think he genuinely went for the ball, but I think he was also trying to stick a naughty in, bit of afters as well, on the Poitre, and got a yellow card for it. And you know, it looks pretty nasty on the replay. It's fine. Like, he doesn't kind of threaten his leg or whatever, and it's just not one of them. It would have hurt a bit, but he's a big lad, the Poitre, the Belgian. But I thought that was a bit silly, and there was just a couple of shaky moments with Lascelles here and there. I think he's still trying to find his feet, but I thought Clark was canny. Richie was dropped to the bench for this game. Did come on a little bit later for Rondon, and after that Perez was pushed up, and Perez proved to be a really good outlet up there on his own. Hayden had swapped in for Key, just to, you know, because I think we needed somebody more defensive than Key, and Key doesn't really provide those just tackles and interceptions and blocks. He's not that kind of player. He doesn't muck in like maybe a Shelvey would, or certainly Diarmi, because that's Diarmi's primary function. But Hayden was all right, I thought, when he came on. He did his job well. We won a lot of headers in the box, and we really dominated. Dubravka was really solid as well today. And I just think it sort of doesn't matter how we play today, because it was all about going away from home and getting a result. And I think anything but a win would have been very dissatisfactory, given that they had Moy out and they had Munir, who would have caused us even more problems than they did. We just didn't turn up first half, but whatever was said at half time, Rafa got them motivated, and we remembered how to play. We remembered that we are technically better than them, I think, pound for pound. Certainly, you know, that proved. I think they have a couple of decent players on the ball. I thought that Bakuna for them was a decent player. I thought he was quite impressive. He couldn't clear the first man from any of his corners, mind, but which probably harmed them. But we did get just a load of. We did get it. If it sounds like I'm in a car wash, by the way, this is just the weather outside the window. So Do apologise if that's impeding you hearing what I'm saying. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you don't want to hear me crack on. But in terms of you know, the defensive work, you know, Shea was top of the interceptions on the pitch. Kieran Clark was top of the blocks. Kieran Clark, 13 out of 13 clearances. Lascelles 9 out of 9. Shea 9 out of 9. Kennedy 9 out of 9. Manquillo 7 out of 7. That is our back five, just all over it and just hoofing the ball away and getting it done. Not trying to do anything too stupid. The conditions there, I imagine, were, I mean, it's very exposed to John Smith's, and you know, I think the wind was swirling around, so it wasn't ever going to be a pretty game, and it's particularly with the talent on show either. But needs must, and we did what we had to do. Headed clearances, Shea, Clark, Manquillo, like the top three there. Like, we dominated defensive area. Jules, Clark, and Shea were up there. Block crosses, you know, that we defensively, that was just a very, very committed performance, and the very pragmatic Rafa Benitez will be absolutely delighted with that display. Like, no frills, gets the job done, got the goal when it mattered. Again, we only had about 25%. We only had about 25% possession tonight. Again, you know, it's becoming a recurring theme that we don't need, and we don't need that much possession to actually do much with it. We had 26% possession today. Yet we managed as many shots on target as they did, 5. Yet they took, you know, twice as many shots to get there. You know, we had, I think we had about 8 shots in total. They had about 15. So they were a lot more profligate than we were. They were wasteful. They didn't do much with possession. And I'm just really delighted, because I'm not a big fan of Wagner. I don't really like his I don't really like the style of football. I just don't think Huddersfield are very good, and I don't think they're very good for the league in terms of aesthetic football. Newcastle aren't much better in that respect, given that, but I think that we have the ability to play good, free-flowing, attacking football with a cautious approach. We do have those players. Perez really showed his class today. I can't praise him enough today. He was just fantastic. Diarmi put another shift in, a very important shift. He wasn't massively on his game. He gave away a couple of clumsy free kicks, and clumsy very much is the word. But if we're looking at the table now, we're now on 16 points. Again, at the top of this mini league that we've got, we're 5 points behind Brighton and West Ham. As the table stands, I think they're to play this weekend. But we're ahead of Palace, who won, and Cardiff and Burnley. But Huddersfield, who have just beaten, are in 18th. That represents the start of the relegation zone. And we are now 6 points clear. Whatever happens... sorry, no. We're 6 points clear currently of the relegation zone. If Southampton and Fulham were to win, though, we would be 4 points clear. But it's a decent cushion to have going into, you know, the Christmas period now. And again, we have the the best goal difference in that bottom table between 14th and 20th, those 7 teams. We have the best goal difference, and that was a huge 6-pointer, because if we don't win that, Huddersfield are sort of just below us level on points, but probably behind us on goal difference. But for Huddersfield level on points, for now to be 6 points clear of them is tremendous. It's absolutely brilliant. It's utterly what we needed today, and I don't think there's much more to say about that. I could hear the away fans on the TV. It was just brilliant. It was just, that's what we needed. Job done. Professional heads on, disciplined, committed. Huge applause. And you know, this was going into a huge week for us. We've now got Fulham at home, who currently sit bottom of the table. They may be off the table by the end of the weekend, but as I'm talking to you, Fulham are bottom of the table. We play them at home on Saturday the 22nd, and we need a raucous atmosphere. It needs to be loud, it needs to be unplayable, and we need to give them a really, really hard time. We've battled well. Let's hope we can get another 3 points against Fulham, because I think that could bode very, very well for us going into January. If takeover speculation is to be believed as well, winning games and being, you know, the probability of relegation survival increasing, that's only going to make us a more attractive proposition for someone to put that bid in and to take over. So we'll see what happens there, but winning games can only be a good thing on all counts. I'm absolutely delighted. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please have a look at some of the takeover videos I've done in the last week as well. They're very, very much worth a look. If you're listening to this on iTunes or SoundCloud, please give us a like and give us a rating as well. Follow us on Facebook at /the2network1892, and of course I'm on Twitter at the2network. Come and check us out there. But thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell all your mates as well. I'm absolutely buzzing. It's finished Huddersfield 0, Newcastle United 1. What a belter! Come on! Bye-bye.